fire. It was one particular MP or parliamenter say or stand there or kasa na NDC for one yellow po ye oye Honorable Abu Jinapore. This fantastic young man, he is very deep into so stand na or kasa na ensemble why dija say or kasa na say ehwe oye majority especially leader anima na ehwa wona wo echi wona backbenchers na when they baby na why deep because the guy is on point anytime you obeka say bia oye very very articulate na any topic be obeba another so Oluflower is on top of. Just watch this.
That he intended to set up an office dedicated to fighting corruption. Mr. Speaker, today, the question, has the office of special prosecutor 8 or 9 years down the road achieved results? Or, Mr. Speaker, do they have any significant achievements when it comes to the fight against corruption? Those are matters before this House. Those are matters before the country. Those are matters that I believe the jury is out there. Has it been a successful office? Has it not? Mr. Speaker, the question is still at large.
This is Abu Jinapore. Na under the fire na Odijia Parliament all because of Oye OSP na Martin Kpebu and na Oye NDC for and blah na wakwaji Oye OSP atuma no watchwa or Kenya Mokebi or the tia Oye speaker. The speaker so anya kwajo odu baby no oye any references be o make you know speaker babe no be bantan no kaje de e per references papa ebeka for ukrom the local one nature oye German ebusia watch this one.
Samuel Abu Jinapore, I was expecting you to quote traditional wisdom, not from Germany, because we have it here too in our traditional norms and wise saying. We use 3 kettle. You are aware that used to fight the lion, and the lion was able to go in between them and said, "Is the red cow is telling you the black cow that is because of its strength that they overpower the lion." You know about that. You are not quoting that. You are quoting German.
Conversation on the floor of Parliament. Ena oye speaker Oma oye Abu Jinapore akwenya there. Oye OSP na asemi wabe onkebi nebusia. Come and see fireworks. Abu Jinapore is one fantastic young man. Na the way always a bit urban flow in a urban accuracy, eloquency or Parliament na. Otum other two opia nini jeno no opia so ye detail no. This time around no, you will enjoy him. Na in the watu tubiama oye mpefno or Parliament especially urban oye majority na waka kanadum bruta. Na odu bebe na majority leader why di no lite no. The problem ma urban defense oye Ahmed Ibrahim. Na ye makasa ni ye bebe. Yenko for the action works are oye this Honorable or spitty on the floor of Parliament.
Low and calm. Jeff Milchek, your trusted voice in Ghanaian politics. You, passionate, very deep, commanding tone. Low and calm. Welcome to your #1 political platform, where we bring you nothing but the best in political content. Very deep, commanding tone. Low and calm. We're here to dive deep.
To contribute to this very important subject. So, Speaker, first of all, I think it's absolutely important that we point out that the intendment and the motivation behind the Akufo-Addo government effort and decision to create this office was a noble one. So, Speaker, I was Deputy Chief of Staff at the time this office was created, and I was very much involved in the deliberations and discussions leading up to the establishment of the office. And the general intent, Mr. Speaker, was really, as is captured by Hansard, was to ensure that we had a dedicated office which was focused on fighting corruption, unraveling corruption, investigating corruption, and punishing corruption. Mr. Speaker, you will agree that in some jurisdictions, particularly in the American jurisdiction, the concept of special prosecutor is very common. And then in Africa, you have South Africa. So Speaker, yes, I take the point the majority there is made, and also to say that the legal question, in my view, Mr. Speaker, is not absolutely settled. Because if you look at Article 88 of our national constitution, Mr. Speaker, particularly Article 88(4), where all prosecutorial powers, criminal prosecutorial powers, are vested in the Attorney General. So Speaker, today in our country, police prosecutors conduct criminal prosecutions. IOCO conduct criminal prosecutions. Yes, several institutions, Senate and others, conduct criminal prosecutions. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, the question which arises is whether or not the Office of the Special Prosecutor is exercising delegated prosecutorial powers. Mr. Speaker, the answer to that, I think, is still at large, and I'll leave it at that. But in any event, Mr. Speaker, it is this Parliament that enacted a law to establish the Office of Special Prosecutor. Mr. Speaker, that said, and by that I say that I do not have today conclusive answers to the legal questions. They were deliberated upon. They may not have been grounded. They may have been grounded. But the intention and the intent of President Akufo-Addo and his government is one that I believe we should celebrate, which is that he intended to set up an office dedicated to fighting corruption. Mr. Speaker, today, the question, has the Office of Special Prosecutor 8 or 9 years down the road achieved results? Or, Mr. Speaker, do they have any significant achievements when it comes to the fight against corruption? Those are matters before this House. Those are matters before the country. Those are matters that I believe the jury is out there. Has it been a successful office? Has it not? Mr. Speaker, the question is still at large, and we all have a take on it. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, the leader of government business, the leader of this House, the majority leader, has had cause to rise up in this House to indicate that the Office of Special Prosecutor is not an office which is fit for purpose. The Speaker, he's even gone a step further. He's gone to the extent of indicating that the Office of Special Prosecutor is an unconstitutional body. It's an unconstitutional office. That's exactly the point the majority leader is making. That the existence of the Office of Special Prosecutor is at variance with the provisions of our national constitution. The Speaker, 1 year down the road, they build an office. They have a super majority. What are they telling us? What are they telling us? The Speaker, this country, with the greatest respect, is sick and tired of talk. Talk. The leader of government business is not just the majority leader. He's a leader of government business. He's a leader of this House. He sits in cabinet. The Speaker, he has indicated that when the bill was tabled before this House, he, as member of Parliament, member of the 8th Parliament, the Speaker, he said he opposed the establishment of the Office of Special Prosecutor. And he indicates that his party, the NDC, opposed the establishment of the Office of Special Prosecutor. I have just indicated the policy rationale or the policy motivation for the establishment of that office by the Akufo-Addo government. Just because you yourself, you've indicated that you were also opposed to it. Just because today, the political party that opposed the establishment of the office, the member of that political party who opposed it in the 8th Parliament, today majority leader, leader of government business, in the wisdom of the Ghanaian people, they have given them a super majority. Super majority. They have majority in this House. They have a super majority. Why? What's happening? What's happening in our country, Mr. Speaker? You just made that point about allocation. And you made a point about reset and the fact that we may struggle with the reset. Too much talking. The country needs action. If you believe the Office of Special Prosecutor is not fit for purpose, you have the majority, you call us micro minority, we are mighty minority indeed. Repeal it. What are you waiting for? 1 year down the road, we are still being given sermons and being given lectures and being told that this office is unconstitutional. Mr. Speaker, because with the greatest of respect, one of their own was touched. Because one of their own was touched. And Mr. Speaker, you just made that point not too long ago, that we should be careful when we enact laws and when we apply the laws. Mr. Speaker, because when you're on the right-hand side of the speaker, and certain actions are being taken, Mr. Speaker, many a times we just tend to think that it will not affect us. Mr. Speaker, needless to point out that the history is here. The history is there for us to appreciate that the law on causing financial loss to the state, Mr. Speaker, is only caught up with people or persons from the side which passed the law, which is why the point the speaker made is a very important point. The law, when it's respected and when it's applied fairly, works for all of us, regardless of where you find yourself. Of course, lawyer Martin Kpebu is somebody I know very well. And indeed, yesterday, Mr. Speaker, when I heard the news that he had been arrested by the Office of Special Prosecutor, I even attempted to reach out to him. But it should never be the case, Mr. Speaker, that when Wontumi is arrested and put behind bars and told to bring bail conditions of 100 million Ghana cedis, and he stays in prison for 1 month, 2 months, Mr. Speaker, when we all know too well that basic teaching of law, criminal law, tells you that bail should never be used as a form or a means of punishment. That one, it is okay. Mr. Speaker, when Osesibi is still in custody today because he's been subjected to onerous and reasonable bail conditions which he cannot meet, Mr. Speaker, he's been told to satisfy a bail condition of 650 million Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, that one is fine. When bail should not be used as a tool of punishment. We didn't hear the majority leader. Mr. Speaker, when several other people, look, Mr. Speaker, we have seen it in this country several times. Government changes, and then some of these measures are put in place. Political opponents are put behind bars. When Paul Adumochi was arrested by the OSP, the Office of Special Prosecutor, because allegedly Paul Adumochi had been critical of the office, when he was arrested and put behind bars, Mr. Speaker, and some of us raised our voices, the majority leader's voice and the majority side was mute. Because today, it is lawyer Martin Kpebu. Mr. Speaker, when the law is applied unfairly against Wontumi, it is bad. When it's applied unfairly against Osesibi, it is bad. When it's applied against Paul Adumochi, it is bad. When it is applied against Martin Kpebu, Mr. Speaker, it is indeed bad. We make laws and make good laws to the best of our ability for all of us, and we respect the law for all of us. Mr. Speaker, I want to conclude by indicating that what happened yesterday is a wake-up call to all of us, that when the law is applied unfairly against a citizen, it doesn't matter whether he's from the north or the south. Mr. Speaker, it doesn't matter whether he's an NDC member or an MPP member. Let us insist, that is our only safeguard, that if the Honorable Mama Yarga is suspected to have committed an offense, he should be taken through proper due process. His rights should be respected. If it is Abu Jinapore, I should be taken through due process. My rights should be respected. Mr. Speaker, that is the only way we can build a civilized, prosperous nation. That's the only way. It should not be the case that the Office of Special Prosecutor suddenly should be scrapped because Martin Kpebu is being taken through a raw deal. No. And I conclude, Mr. Speaker, with this quote. By Martin Nyola. And I quote, Mr. Speaker, he said of Nazi Germany, first they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out. They came for the Unionists, and I did not speak out. They came for the Jews, and I did not speak out. And when they came for me, there was no one to speak out for me. Mr. Speaker, I end the quote. I thank the Majority Leader for the sentiments he's expressed. And Mr. Speaker, I thank you too for the opportunity you've given. And I thank you also for the sentiments you've expressed. Mr. Speaker, today, the 4th of December, the super majority join us, we, the advocates of rule of law, the bastions of rule of law, the originators of rule of law, the promoters of rule of law, the doers of rule of law. Shake off your revolutionary tendencies a bit. Shake it off and join us, Mr. Speaker, to let the rule of law prevail. When it prevails for Honorable Mama Yaraga, it prevails for Abu Jinapore, it prevails for all of us, all the people of Ghana. I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Samuel Abu Jinapore, I was expecting you to quote traditional wisdom, not from Germany. Because we have it here too. In our traditional norms and wise saying, we use 3 cattle. You are aware that used to fight the lion. And the lion was able to go in between them and said, it's the red cow. It's telling you the black cow. That is because of its strength that they overpower the lion. You know about that. You are not quoting that. You are quoting Germany because of the formal education. That has changed all of you from being Ghanaian. You are talking about the rule of law. It started long before colonial rule. And you are quoting later day saints. That's the challenge we have. But I don't want any family dissing here. So I'll give it to the minister. I'll give it to the minister.
Low and calm. Jeff Judge, your trusted voice in Ghanaian politics. You, passionate, very deep, commanding tone. Low and calm. Welcome to your #1 political platform, where we bring you nothing but the best in political content. Very deep, commanding tone. Low and calm. We're here to dive deep.